I don't buy anything American. I don't go to the States anymore.
Air Transat announced today it is suspending the last of its U.S. flights for the summer season.
With Canada-U.S. relations rapidly deteriorating since President Donald Trump took office for his second term, tensions have shown no signs of slowing down as Canadian travelers have increasingly boycotted travel to the U.S. in the past year.
Something is shifting in North America. Canadian airlines are pulling back from the U.S., and the signal is getting harder to ignore. This week, Air Transat confirmed it is suspending the last of its U.S. summer routes. Flights from Montreal and Quebec City to Orlando and Fort Lauderdale are gradually winding down, not because of storms, not because of aircraft shortages, but because demand is no longer strong enough to sustain them. Just days earlier, WestJet cut 15 city pairs between Canada and the United States, 15 connections removed in a single strategic adjustment. When one airline trims flights, that can be seasonal. When multiple carriers cut back in the same week, that becomes a pattern. Airlines are not political activists. They are data-driven businesses. Every route exists for one reason: profitability. Every cancellation reflects numbers on a screen. Load factors, forward bookings, pricing pressure, consumer sentiment. When those numbers weaken, aircraft get redeployed. It is cold, precise, and unemotional, which makes this development even more powerful. For decades, Canadian travel to the US was almost automatic. Florida depended on Canadian snowbirds escaping brutal winters. Orlando theme parks expected Canadian families during school breaks. Fort Lauderdale hotels built entire seasonal strategies around retirees from Quebec and Ontario. That cross-border tourism pipeline was steady, reliable, predictable. Billions of dollars flowed south every year through hotels, restaurants, shopping centers, cruise terminals, and rental car companies. But now something is different. Canadians are still traveling. Planes are still full. Airports are still busy. The shock is not that Canadians stopped flying. The shock is where they are choosing to fly instead. Airlines are expanding into Europe. They are increasing capacity to North Africa. They are adding more international sun destinations. Air Transat is leaning deeper into global markets instead of reinforcing U.S. routes. Capacity is not shrinking. It is being redirected. That redirection tells a deeper story. When demand weakens in one market and strengthens in another, airlines follow the strength. That means bookings to the US are not as strong as they used to be. That is not a slogan. That is not speculation. That is revenue management reality. Now, the uncomfortable question rises slowly. Why? Is it political tension that has made cross-border travel feel less attractive? Is it economic uncertainty tied to trade disputes and headlines? Is it currency pressure that makes spending in the US feel heavier on Canadian wallets? Is it simply a psychological shift after years of turbulent political narratives? There may not be one single reason, but consumer behavior has changed enough to move aircraft across continents. And aircraft are not easy to move. Schedules are planned months in advance. Crews are assigned. Marketing budgets are allocated. When routes get cut, it means executives believe the weakness is strong enough to justify rebalancing an entire network. That is not temporary panic, that is strategic repositioning. Think about the ripple effect. If fewer Canadians land in Florida, hotels notice. If hotel occupancy softens, room prices adjust. Restaurants feel smaller dinner crowds. Tour operators feel fewer bookings. Tourism is a chain reaction industry. A single passenger spends on flights, accommodation, food, entertainment, shopping, transportation. Multiply that by thousands, and the economic impact becomes measurable. Airlines respond faster than politicians. They do not argue ideology. They adjust capacity. Right now, the adjustment is visible. Routes are being cut, aircraft are being reassigned, international destinations are gaining frequency, the map is being redrawn in real time. Whether this becomes a temporary dip or a lasting shift depends on what happens next. But one thing is undeniable. The flow of Canadian travelers to the US is no longer automatic. And when automatic patterns break, even quietly, the economic consequences can echo far beyond the runway.